Okay, so continuing our discussion on Because I Could Not Stop for Death, we're going to just look at the first two stanzas today. So if you guys want to just take a second to reread those. All right, ready? Cool. So with those two stanzas in mind, and since we've read the rest of the work, if a thought comes up that you really want to talk about or jot down, feel free to. But we're going to go ahead and just do a free write for around like a minute and a half. So just don't worry about grammar, don't worry about punctuation, anything like that. Just write down whatever comes in your head, questions that come up in the text, any like imagery that it brings up for you. And if you guys want to go ahead and just start that now and really focus on not having your pencil leave the paper, writing the whole time, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, you guys have around 10 more minutes, so just try and, or 10 more seconds, or so just try and get your last few thoughts down on the page.
Okay.
Or come to a place where you feel like you can stop. Okay, if you guys just go ahead and finish your sentence or come to a stopping point, then let's kind of rejoin to have a little discussion about what you guys wrote about. So, what came up for you guys while you were doing the free write after rereading the first two stanzas?
So I said that the first two stanzas focus on the main character's transition into death. Like it says that death stopped for her, and then she put away her labor and leisure, or she put away those things for death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So when you were thinking about that, I mean, like, in reading those lines in the text, what did that make you picture? Like, what sort of a sense are you getting from the narrator in that? Do you think, she's cool with it? Or was it more of a thing where she felt kind of like, whatever, I'll do it, but I don't really want to?
I guess it is kind of like more passive towards the end, where it's just like, putting away what I thought was her labor and leisure was like her life or something like that. Her like work and her leisure, both sides of life, I guess. She put them away for him. So it's just kind of like, at first she's like doesn't want to stop for death, but like when he stops for her, then it's just lets it go.
Yeah, cool. That's a good thought. And Rachel, what did you talk about?
I talked about death too, and like kind of like from the first two stanzas, like what kind of person is he? Like I couldn't tell, like is he scary? Like I know we read it, but like how she feels towards him, so it's kind of suspenseful in a way, and like you try to imagine like ideas of what's gonna happen, or how like she feels towards him, or like what he or she, like how they act towards her. That's what I was thinking about.
No, that's a good point as well, and I like that you're like putting yourself in the narrator's shoes a little bit and trying to feel it out from her point of view. All right, so if you guys want to just take another like 20 seconds and just write down a question that you have about the text, or a question that this conversation kind of brought on for you, just go ahead and you guys can start that right now. Okay, and then whenever you get to the end of that thought, do you want to turn to your partner and just kind of let them know what question you asked, give each other a few thoughts, and then we'll rejoin as a group?
I'll go. My question was if like anyone in her life actually represents like death to her. Like if she like, yeah, that
There's
makes sense.
someone that she actually
Yeah.
knows for the-
Or if she just feels like it's somebody
Mhm.
or such a strong presence that it's like a person.
I put just a question about one of the sentences. It says like the carriage holds immortality. Just a little bit confused by it, like how it fits into the two stanzas. Like kind of read at face value. I feel like it kind of breaks apart the death transition idea. I don't know. It's just like I don't quite understand that part
Yeah.
of it just yet. So
Yeah. No, that's a good question.
So after talking with each other, do you feel like you got any answers, have more questions than before? Like, is your response to that discussion?
more questions.
Yeah, I feel like they're very like open ended.
It's a
Like
lot of ways
Yeah.
to look at it.
yeah.
That's the thing about poetry too, is it's even when you're getting answers, you're asking a lot more questions.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's it from me. Do you guys have any feedback?
I thought it was good, like the free writing, and then it kind of goes into like the questions because you started to think about like if you have questions without doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought the student discussion about the questions was really good. Like, I was gonna mention something about just like, student participation, but then you did it with that, so then it was good.
Yeah.
Sweet.